8:07.
Thank you, and welcome to the City Council meeting of December 12th, 2024. I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:34 p.m. And if you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, roll call, please.
We have no requests under roll call item A. I'm going to do a roll call now for City Council members. Councilmember Cunningham.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Lenz.
Here.
Councilmember Mackin.
Here.
And Mayor O'Connell.
Here. Can I get a first and a second to adopt the agenda as it stands?
So moved. Second.
I have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll move on to the consent calendar.
Oral communication?
Excuse me?
Oral communications?
Oh, I had a check mark by it. Oral communications. Are there any members of the public who'd like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? I have one slip, I think, from Tom Leese. Would you like to come forward?
Hello, Honorable Mayor and Council. I'm speaking on behalf of West Coast Farmers Market. We run the Brisbane Farmers Market, and I just want to make a recommendation or an invitation for all of you to come and support our market. We have a lot of great vendors, pastries, bakeries, fruits, vegetables, and food truck. And I just want to invite all of you to come and support your market. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public in the audience that would like to speak on an item not on the agenda? I see no hands, and so we'll move on. Is there anyone online who would like to speak?
We have a raised hand from CMF. I believe that's Chris.
Please go ahead.
There's the unmute button. Thank you. As you may notice, I submitted an email request and it was acknowledged, but I don't know that any action's even being considered. My request is that the draft EIR for the quarry development be offered to the Complete Streets Safety Committee to take a look at, if only for the transportation related segments. I received an interesting response from the city engineer about this, but I don't think it's relevant to my request. That particular committee, it contributes to an appreciation for how we manage our streets and we ensure that they're safe. And we have a very significant potential development that could impact transportation in the city. So I'd like to see us give them a chance to take a look at that draft EIR. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
No more hands raised, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar. Can I get a first and a second to adopt consent calendar items B through E?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we will move to new business. Consider adoption of resolution adopting the County of San Mateo's certification of votes and declaring results to fill 3 four-year council seats at the presidential general election held on November 5th, 2024. Clerk, your staff report, please.
Honorable Mayor and council members, it is being recommended to adopt the resolution adopting the County of San Mateo's certification of votes and declaring results of the general municipal election held on November 5th, 2024, to fill 3 city council seats. The resolution declares the results of the election that was held on November 5th. Cliff Lenz and Colleen Mackin were re-elected to serve on the City Council through December 2028. Frank Kern was newly elected to serve on the City Council through December 2028. At the time this report was written, the certification of votes from the County of San Mateo has not been received, but we have received it FedEx from the county. And the total number of votes cast was 2,415 out of 3,009 total registered voters in the city.
Thank you. Can I get a first and a second to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. With that, we'll move to the administration of oath of office of the newly elected council members. City Clerk Padilla will now administer the oath of office, first to the re-elected council members, Cliff Lentz and Colleen Mackin.
Where would you like us, Ingrid?
Join me down here.
Thank you.
I will now administer the oath or affirmation of allegiance for public officers and employees. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
I,
Colleen
Cliff
Mackin,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
That I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have Alan Velasco administer the oath of office to the newly elected Councilmember Frank Kern.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Frank Kern,
Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend,
do solemnly support that I'm sorry,
solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Or are we staying?
Congratulations.
So we are now going to move on to item H, which is recognizing outgoing Councilmember Karen Cunningham for her service. This is a proclamation of the City Council of the City of Brisbane recognizing outgoing Councilmember Karen Cunningham for her service to the City of Brisbane. Whereas Karen Cunningham was elected as a City Council member for the City of Brisbane on November 7th, 2017, and November 3rd, 2020, she was selected by her peers as Mayor of Brisbane December 10th, 2020. December 9th, 2021, during the height of the COVID-19 global pandemic, prior to serving on the council, Karen Cunningham served as a planning commissioner for 7 years. And whereas we are here today to express special recognition to Karen Cunningham and to honor her over 30 years of distinguished service as a resident, community volunteer, and elected city council member. Whereas Karen Cunningham has proved herself to be an invaluable champion of the City of Brisbane, she was a staunch advocate for public libraries, safety, fiscal responsibility, improved quality of life, growth in the city's business sector, environmental protection and sustainability, innovation, beautification, and public art, self-determination, inclusion, and community building. And whereas Karen Cunningham's tenure as a council member reminded us all of the importance of injecting joy as we celebrate our diverse community and the biggest assets to the city, its community members, and what we can achieve together. And whereas as a council member, she was a strong champion for the city's residents and businesses on the local, county, state, and national levels. She extended fire safety with a 100-foot perimeter around undeveloped parcels in Brisbane and pushed for a reduction of hazardous vegetation, as well as other initiatives such as Samtrans Route 292, continuing its extension into San Francisco, Airbnb regulations and enforcement, small business grants, a San Mateo credit union ATM at City Hall, and working to receive the age-friendly community certification under the AARP WHO Network of Age-Friendly Communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that after 7 years of dedicated service as a council member of the City of Brisbane, we thank outgoing council member Karen Cunningham for her leadership and commitment to her community, a community she worked tirelessly to ensure remains secure, vibrant, and welcoming for all. And thank you so much. If you'd like to come forward. Thank you. Karen, would you like to say a few words?
Are you sure you want me to? It's been such an honor working with you all. If you think I'm going anywhere, some of you might want me gone, but I'm not gone. I'm very much here. And what I will be doing over the next period of time is making sure no one gets in your way. And if they do, I'll be your first defenders to make sure that we get a fair shake here in Brisbane. I know there's a lot of things coming down the pipe, and they're not all going to be pleasant. Frank, you did accept this, you know. So I'll be here to be a help on the side. If you need my help, I'm here. And if you don't, and I think you need my help, I'll let you know. So, and for everybody at our city, our staff are the most amazing people I've ever met. They do an incredible job. So grateful that we found Jeremy, and for everybody else who's here that's been here for a long time. It's just been so amazing working with these incredible people. So, I'm not gone. I'm just around the corner. And I'm watching every single one of you. Don't screw up now.
Thank you. Council members, would anyone like to say a few words on this subject?
I would, Madam Mayor.
Please,
I
Colleen.
had the pleasure of serving with Councilmember Cunningham on a lot of subcommittees. And you all may not know it, but this is one person that brought boundless enthusiasm way out of, I don't know where she came up with some of her ideas, and an energy that I couldn't even come close to. And that will really be missed. I will miss that. It was a real pleasure serving with you on all those committees and on the council. So thank you for that.
Oh, want me to go next?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Karen, if I had to sum up what it's like working with you, I would say in one word, dedication. You go the extra mile. You are so committed to the city of Brisbane, not just as a council member, but as a resident and definitely as a planning commissioner. You are so focused on the work. You do your due diligence. You go the extra mile. And that is something that I've really appreciated in you. You have just an outstanding work ethic. It's been a pleasure, obviously, working with you for many years on lots of things. But for me personally, working with you on public art has been a great experience. And I think the leadership that you've brought and the ideas that you've brought to that committee have enabled the committee to have a solid foundation that will carry it through many years. Don't worry, I'll make sure we get some benches installed in the city, artful benches, which brings me to your dedication as well to our seniors. That's something that I always, in every conversation that it applies, you advocate for our seniors. And, you know, I know that they appreciate how much you are concerned about their needs. And this came through very clearly in your efforts with Cafe to get Brisbane certified as an age-friendly city. When I was mayor, that was when I was mayor, and I really didn't have the bandwidth. And you said, you know what, this is so important. I will take this on as my personal project. And Brisbane is so much better for having had you done that. And because of the survey that you did in the outreach, that's when you realize that our older people in Brisbane, they need more places to sit. They need more places to relax. So having that information from Cafe and then being on the public art committee, the way that you problem solve by suggesting benches that could be artful and you're almost killing two birds with one stone is the ingenuity that makes for a great council person. So I can't wait to see what you do in this next chapter, and I thank you for everything that you've done thus far for Brisbane.
Cliff?
Yes. Karen, thank you so much for your service. No one could ever doubt your heart and your passion for our community. You've always been someone who, I remember back when I was on the planning commission, and you would come to meetings, and then on the council, coming to meetings and wanting, pushing us to be better and bringing up things that we needed to pay attention to. One of the things that I feel is just really fortunate for you as a council member is that you are going to leave a legacy mark on our community, and that's that stairway that will connect Alvarado and San Benito. And a lot of people don't know, but when Karen was on the BPAC, and this is an advisory group to CCAG, she was advocating for funds for that stairway, and we weren't getting a lot of love, but she never gave up, and she worked those relationships and built those connections, and eventually we did receive that money. And then, as Madison had mentioned, looking at trying to knock off two birds with one stone, funding from the Public Art Fund is going to make that stairway not only functional, but beautiful at the same time. And when that stairway goes in, sometime, hopefully maybe next year, but sometime soon, right? Those little kids are going to be walking down that stairway from San Benito. We all know when you're walking along San Benito to school, that S curve, it's really dangerous. Now they can safely walk down that stairway, get onto Alvarado, where there's a safe route to school, and safely go to school. But also, we'll be looking at that stairway and saying, wow, that's beautiful. And that's one of your lasting legacies. A lot of council members don't get to leave something like that during their tenure, but you will. And thank you so much for that and all the other things that you've done for our community.
Frank?
Karen, thank you so much. It's very obvious that you care a great deal about Brisbane, and you do put a lot of heart and effort into everything that you've done. You were the first council member that I met in moving into town, and I still remember the interview that you, and the interview questions that you were asking me for Parks and Recreation. Thank you. With that being said, you've left some incredibly large shoes to fill, and I'm going to do my best to step up. So thank you so much.
So Karen, you have worked so hard for Brisbane, and I didn't serve on a lot of subcommittees with you because it just didn't work out that way. But you always brought a unique perspective to whether it was our regular meeting or in our closed session, when we really get to think outside the box and discuss some of the things that the public doesn't get to hear. You came up with some great ideas, some great solutions. And, you know, you've put your mark on the city by being a council member, and I truly appreciate that. Everything the other council members have said, I agree with, and I like to keep things short, but thank you so much for your service, and we really, truly appreciate it. So, we do have members from Senator Becker's office, Assemblymember Pappin's office, and County Supervisor David Canepa's office. Would any of them like to come up and say a few words? Please, Tony.
Hey, good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. First of all, I just want to say congratulations. My name is Tony Bayuda, and I'm here today on behalf of Supervisor Canepa, who wasn't able to make it. Karen, first of all, I just want to say, on behalf of the supervisor, thank you, thank you, thank you. You've represented your city well as the county. On a personal level, Karen, I remember calls from you whenever there was some assistance that was needed. She was always there in support. If there was a constituent in Brisbane that needed help, she called me. And I said, Karen, I'll do whatever I can to assist. And fellow council members, I will assist you also. So definitely call me or the supervisor. But Karen, you are definitely a gem, okay? I already know you've got a lot more work to do. And I expect, and a supervisor in the county expects, to see more work. So on behalf of the County of San Mateo, we want to thank you for your service. And I have this resolution, love and support. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Do we have a member from Senator Becker's office? No? And did we have the Assemblymember Pappin's office? No. Okay, well, thank you again, Karen, for all your service to Brisbane. Thank you so much. Next, we will move to the selection of a new mayor and a mayor pro tem. Can I get nomination for the new mayor?
I'd like to nominate Cliff Lentz for mayor.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No opposed? And can I get a motion to select the mayor pro tem?
I would like to select Councilmember Mackin to be Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor? Aye.
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 So, Madam Clerk, can we move on to the administration of the oath of office of the newly selected mayor and mayor pro tem?
Are you doing it together? Okay.
Councilmember Mackin?
I, Colleen Mackin, do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Thank you very much. Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Cliff Lentz,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Thank you.
I'm gonna need water.
There you go. There you go.
I figured you didn't.
I did.
Okay.
Extra protein.
Okay.
So Cliff, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you. Grab my notes here. Well, first of all,
Wait, your mic's
what
not
I-
on.
I guess that would help, wouldn't it? First of all, I would like to pass the mic to council members Mackin and Kern if they would like to say some words of gratitude to the public for becoming a newly elected council member and being re-elected to the city council. So, Councilmember Mackin.
Thank you,
Mayor Pro
Mr. Mayor.
Tem Mackin.
I would just say thank you from the bottom of my heart. There's so many things I started I really wanted to finish. Now I have that opportunity. There's no way to express gratitude accordingly, so you're just going to have to see results keep bugging me. And I'm thrilled about going into the next couple years, and I thank you for entrusting me with these responsibilities. I'll do the best I can, and all I have to say is let's get to work. Thank you.
Councilmember Kern.
Thank you, Mayor. I have prepared a statement. It is under 2 minutes. Dear Brisbane neighbors, I'm humbled and lack the words to fully express my gratitude for electing me as the newest city council member. It's been a journey to get there, and after knocking on 1,400 of your doors, I can say with great confidence this community has spirit. Yes, it does. Whether through varied levels of civic participation, volunteering, or being a member of any one of our many clubs, Brisbane's social capital feels second to none. There's so much on the table and at stake right now. I'm eager to listen, to learn, and to represent. At the end of this, I'm hoping we can say we turned ideas into plans that became achievements. We need to keep our demonstrated unity and enthusiasm intact, and through collaboration, we'll make Brisbane even a better place to live, work, and raise families. I'd like to offer a heartfelt thank you to my life partner and campaign manager, Alan Velasco, my program managers and strategists, Julie Sims and Lisa Greenlee, art direction and graphic design by Deanna Washington, and website design by a longtime friend, Judy Chesky of JC Web Studio. Folks hosted brunches for me, happy hours for me to really just get me out there in the community. I thought after 5 years I knew so many people I didn't know nearly enough, so I appreciate all of that. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to thank Karen Cunningham for her dedication and tremendous efforts over 2 terms on City Council. We're lucky to have you. Lastly, I'd like to thank the staff of Brisbane for their hard work keeping our beloved town functioning, and City Council and all of our commissions for your guidance and governance. You've inspired me. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, before I start, I want to thank you again, Karen, for your years of service, and I appreciate everything that you've done for our community. And yes, please continue to be active in our community. I also want to recognize Chaya Bella David, newly minted high school graduate, running for office, running for city council, and getting 615 votes. That was impressive. She was also really impressive during the forum. She had a lot of grace. She was articulate. And I hope that she is an inspiration for a lot of other young Brisbane residents to get involved and be a part of what's going on in our community. I also want to thank my family, my wife Karen, our daughter Caitlin, Claire, she's working right now, so she can't be with us, and my mom, Anne. I know that being on the city council and public life is taken away from family time, but you've always been there for me, and I just appreciate and love you so much. Thank you for allowing me to do this. I also want to thank all the people who voted for me and bring your faith in what I do on the council and for another 4 years. I also really appreciate all the people who opened up their doors and had conversations with me. Canvassing is hard work. There's no question about that. But I tell you, it's such a blessing when you knock on that door and someone opens their door and they want to talk with you. And I tell you, most of the time when people talk to you, like 99% of the time, they're happy about Brisbane. They love living here. And as a city council member, as a public servant, to hear those words, right, it really makes you feel proud to be living in Brisbane. I don't know about you, but how many folks went to the Festival of Lights on Sunday night? Show of hands, right? I mean, talk about joy, talk about the essence of Brisbane. That was just an amazing event. But, one of the main reasons why that event was so successful, why it was so wonderful, and I'm glad that you brought that up tonight, Karen, is our amazing public employees, right? I mean, and that was just a snapshot of what they do. They're always working on our behalf to keep us healthy and safe and enjoying our time in Brisbane. And I would like all of us to rise and just give our staff and our public employees just a big round of applause because we really appreciate all that you do. Elections, they're milestones, for us, right? They're part of our history. It's a time to reflect, right, and appreciate and show gratitude. But it's also a time to restart, right? We have a new council member, which means we have a new council dynamic. We have a new city manager, right? And I know that a lot of you have engaged with him, and he's got a ton of energy. He's got a lot of great ideas, and we're all really excited to have him be a part of our team and to help guide us. Sometimes as council members, we need some hand holding, we need some assurances, and he's been wonderful in that role, and I'm looking forward to partnering with him as well as the other council members. One of the main things that a mayor does is set the agenda. But the agenda is not the mayor's priorities. No, they're the council's priorities. Sometimes they're the public's priorities. A lot of the stuff that we have on our agenda, it's housekeeping stuff, and that comes from the city manager. But it is a collaboration, right? It's about coming together and having teamwork. One of the things that I'd like to do as a council member and as mayor is to try and set the tone, right? And that means self-reflection, right? How can I be a better listener? How can I have more patience? How can I be more accessible? Last night, I went to the chamber mixer, and I hadn't been to the mixer in a long time. It's been some years. But I tell you, I had a lot of fun, and I had some great conversations. And, the last several senior luncheons, I made a commitment. I'm going to go to a senior luncheon at least once a month. And again, a lot of fun, and you learn so much. You learn about the history of Brisbane. You hear about what's going on with folks who are have been in town for a long time. I'm 59 years old. I'm going to be there pretty darn soon. I need to learn from these folks. So, and I make a point to sit at a different table every time I go, right? So that I get a different perspective. That's how you grow as a council member, is by just engaging as many people as you can, right, in our town. Because you might think that you know what it's about and you have like these ideas, but until you take in all perspectives, right, all opinions, that's when you're at your best. That's when the best ideas can come forward. One of the things that I'd like to do for our council meetings, and I'm going to try it out, is not to have the timer anymore. I tell you, preparing for today's meeting, I was a little nervous, right? And I'll be honest with you, I'm nervous before every single council meeting. And, to come up to the podium, you got the council looking down and you're the only one out there. It takes a lot of courage, right, to come before us. And I appreciate that. Now, granted, that doesn't mean that you can talk forever, and I'm going to try and keep you, under the 3 minutes. But, if that makes it easier for you to come and give us input, hey, so be it, right? Another thing that I would like to do is, like, when you come before us and you have questions, I'm going to write them down. I'm going to ask council members to write them down too. I mean, part of the functioning of an efficient meeting, we're not supposed to have that exchange, right? And we're not going to do that. But I'll ask, or council members can ask those questions to staff and get those answers. Another thing that is pretty interesting, I got this suggestion from city manager, Dennis, and he said, you ever thought about maybe starting the meetings earlier? And I thought, yeah, maybe that sounds like a good idea. And you know how it goes. You buy a red car, and then all of a sudden you notice everyone has red cars. And so out on the campaign trail, people started asking me, hey, have you ever thought about doing a meeting earlier? Because your meetings, they go way too late into the evening. It's true, right? Sometimes it'll be way past 10 o'clock and no one's in the house, and we're talking about important things. So, and it's interesting that we're the only city council that starts their meetings at 7:30. Other city councils in the county, they start at 6, 6:30, or 7. So it's something we're going to bring to the full council, and we'll talk about it and see if starting meetings earlier works for us, and hopefully would be better for all of you. I'm someone who tries to get things organized and ready for bed around 9 o'clock. So if we can do our meetings earlier or refresher, I think that's more productive for everybody else. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back office hours. And I'm going to do the office hours once a month. I'm going to work out those details with the city manager. If a lot of people are attending, and maybe we'll do it twice a month, but definitely once a month. Another thing that I'd like to promote, and something that we brought up as a council before, and that is recognizing the people who serve on our committees and commissions. Right? These people, they dedicate a boatload of hours to all of us. And I think having some event where we're recognizing them once a year, and especially those folks who have done it for, say, a couple of terms, right? That's 8 years of dedication. It would be nice to acknowledge them with some kind of recognition gift. So I'm excited about the future. But I also have anxiety too, right? That's part of being human. And sometimes when I'm feeling, a little overwhelmed, I try and think of that serenity prayer. May I accept, things as they are. May I have the courage to change the things that I can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. So, as been mentioned, during your State of the City address at our last meeting, the city manager, we do have a lot of things on our plate. There's a lot of things to take care of, but we're resilient. And when we come together as one, we're unstoppable. And so thank you so much for being here tonight. It's truly an honor to serve in this capacity, and I look forward to being your mayor for 2025. Thank you very much. All right, so one of my first duties as mayor is to recognize outgoing Mayor O'Connell. So let me drink some water first. That was a bit of a mouthful. Whereas Terry O'Connell served as the mayor of the city of Brisbane from December 14th, 2023 to December 12th, 2024, and whereas her tenure as mayor has been marked by exemplary dedication to the best interests of our city and the well-being of our community members by highly valuing the unique charm and natural beauty of Brisbane, the close-knit community spirit, and the drive for innovation while preserving its small-town character. And whereas she remained a strong advocate for the city of Brisbane and the county, state, and federal levels on issues such as environmental stewardship, habitat restoration, airport noise, collaboration, and the Brisbane Chamber of Commerce and Brisbane businesses. Partnering with schools and school districts, including sponsoring the Mayor for a Day event at City Hall. And whereas she spent many hours working to solve issues and explore new projects for council consideration, as part of her work in numerous council subcommittees and county assignments, including the following: Airport Land Use Committee, Representative Airport Community Roundtable, Brisbane Baylands Community Advisory Group, the BBCAG, North County Fire Authority Board of Directors, Fire Services, Caltrain Modernization Local Policymaker Group, San Mateo County Emergency Service Council, SMC Pre-Hospital EMS Group, Board of Directors, the JPA ALS Paramedic Alternate, Brisbane Emergency Service Council Representative, Airport Noise Subcommittee, Bayland Subcommittee, Fiscal and Administrative Policy Subcommittee, Sierra Point Parkway Design Guidelines Subcommittee, Liaison to Open Space and Ecology Committee, and liaisons to the Planning Commission. And whereas under her leadership, the City Council unanimously adopted a resolution appointing Jeremy Dennis as Brisbane's next city manager earlier this year after the retirement of Clay Holstein. Whereas as mayor, she hosted many citywide events marking important milestones. As mayor, she celebrated a major milestone in environmental progress, the electrification of Caltrain, which will provide cleaner, faster, and more efficient rail service from San Francisco to San Jose. In September 2024, Brisbane played a role in this historic transition by hosting our town launch party at the Bayshore Station. Whereas this past November, she received on behalf of the city the 2024 Helen Putman Award for Excellence for the Brisbane Building Efficiency Program. This prestigious program is a long tradition with all California cities and the League of California Cities as well. Whereas one of her final acts as mayor was lighting the festival tree in the city's 38th annual Festival of Lights. You were such a glow when you did that. That was so nice to see. Where she recognized the Volunteer of the Year, the late Peter Grace, who worked with Mayor O'Connell as a beloved resident, advocating on the Airport Roundtable and an organizer of the Concerned Citizens of Brisbane group. Now, therefore, be it resolved that after a year of dedicated service as mayor of the city of Brisbane, we thank Mayor O'Connell for her dedication and commitment to serving the community and furthering the qualities that have made Brisbane a great place to live and work. So, are there any council members who would like to say a few words?
Yes. I know how uncomfortable this makes you, so I will make sure it's brief. Although there's so much I could say. But Terry, thank you so much for being an advocate for fiscal responsibility. You always mind the nickels and cents, and I think some of us have more optimistic views about our finances, and you bring us back to earth when we need it. So you're always looking out for Brisbane's financial health. You're also a wealth of institutional knowledge, having served on the city council for this is your fourth term, right? Yes. And so I know that wealth of knowledge has aided this council on many occasions. And lastly, I just want to thank you for being such a staunch supporter of the environment, specifically out at Sierra Point and on San Bruno Mountain. And I can't wait to continue working with you in these next 2 years and to see what else you'll do on the council.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes. Most of you probably wouldn't know, but if we go back quite a few years, and I was serving on Complete Streets and then the Planning Commission, and Terry knows this. The first time she was mayor, and I respectfully called her Madam Mayor, and ever since, she's always been Madam Mayor to me, because I thought she epitomized the perfect Madam Mayor. And over the continuing duration, I have truly, truly enjoyed. Terry is a great mentor. Clark Conway's a mentor, but you may not know it. So is Terry. There are so many things I go digging and probing, and I go, oh, what happened then? What happened in that year? What was this? And I can pick up the phone and call her, and she knows. And the other thing is, yes, she's my fiscal responsibility buddy. And, you know, Terry's got that name O'Connell, so, you know, that staunch Irish background. And I wear this name Colleen everywhere, so everyone goes, oh, you're Irish. Well, you know, yes, I'm part Irish. And then this year, she just blew the myth out of the water because she said, I'm an ancestry. Are you there? And I said, well, you know, I'm in there, but I don't have time. I haven't been studying. And she said, oh, but they've updated. So, okay, I went, I'll go take a look. My Irish roots, you know, British Isles. And I come to find out they updated. I'm more Scottish, and so is she. So it explains everything.
I thought you were going to say you were cousins. I
No.
was so excited. I was like, that's what I thought it was going
I
to be.
haven't found out
Oh
that
my
yet.
gosh. I was like, wow, you guys
We
kept
may
a good
find that
secret.
out, but I don't know.
We might be, no telling. But truly, you will always be Madam Mayor to me, and I am so grateful for your institutional knowledge and kind of sage advice that you sometimes pull us all back and go, well, wait a minute, think about this. And she has a wicked sense of humor that I really appreciate. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Kern.
Just want to thank you for your years of service. I didn't know where that was going for a brief moment there. So I'm glad to see that I'm not working with two family members up here. But I just want to thank you for your years of service. I think that your institutional knowledge is vast, and I think that I have a lot to learn from you, and I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Terry, for serving as our mayor this past year. As everyone has said, you are the person that really digs deep in regards to our fiscal health and oversight, and I appreciate that. And I also appreciate the back and forth, you know, on the issues. And one of the things that I really appreciate about your leadership is that you stand up for Brisbane like a rock, and you don't let any, you know, government, you know, official or agency or developer, you know, push us around. You've always been rock steady, and I've learned from that, and it's helped me be a better council member, and I think also for the council as a whole body. And we have some big things that are in front of us, and we're going to need that type of you know, continuity that, you know, will protect us. And so thank you for being that leader all these years. So thank you. And, you know, I have this proclamation. Do you have some words, though, that you would like to say?
I do.
Yes.
I just want to say that part of being mayor or being on the city council is not being scared to call BS on something and to be able to speak your mind and to not take yourself too seriously. We rely on the staff, on our fellow council members, on the public, from all this wealth of information that we are being bombarded by. And that, you know, it's more of a job to be mayor, because you have the ceremonial part. You have some of the political, the face of the city for that brief moment. And that's the hardest part for me. I'm not a social person. I prefer to be in small groups. I prefer not to be the center of attention. Although the other night when I was wearing my sparkly jacket, maybe that didn't really show up. But to me, that's stage clothes. That's when, you know, you're putting on a face that you're not comfortable with so that you can do something for others. And being the mayor, for me, was doing something for others. Yes, it's a little more responsibility. Yes, there's the darn luminary article to write every year, every month. felt like way quicker than that, than once a month. But, you know, it was my pleasure to do that, my pleasure to work with staff, and my pleasure to work with the council. So thank you.
Yes, I do. I do. So Ingrid,
Are you gonna read the proclamation?
I
Oh, you
did.
did. Oh, I thought you said I have another proclamation to read. I was like, oh.
No, the
Okay,
actual.
We're gonna
Yeah.
just get a picture.
all of us?
Can we all
Yeah,
get
yeah,
all of this?
absolutely.
Why don't we get
Come
all
on.
of this?
Let me just put this back here. All right.
How does it work best?
Okay.
Me?
Okay, there we go.
Now we have someone tall. that
I
can
know.
read. We have levels now.
Here, I can try to be taller.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Terry. All right, so this is the moment where we take a little break. We have some refreshments in the foyer, and yeah, let's do a little mingling and chatting before we come back and finish up the city's business. All right, thank you. All right, welcome back, everyone. We'll continue with the public's business. On to item L, which is staff reports. Jeremy, you got the floor.
Thank you, Mayor Lentz. Members of the council, in the spirit of tonight's reorganization, I have no report. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that report. Appreciate it. Mayor, council members, countywide assignments and subcommittee reports. Anyone have anything? All right, then we'll keep moving on then. Written communications, Ingrid.
Communications and correspondences were received from Penny O'Connor on December 3rd regarding the quarry development.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. All right. So we do have an item to look at. It's item O, and that is reviewing the city council meeting schedule for 2025. So we have in our packet the schedule for our regular meetings. And Jeremy, you said that there's an item or a date that you want to add to the mix?
Put it up.
Through the chair, I wanted to acknowledge that the schedule before you does have one date in June as a cancellation due to the Juneteenth holiday. And it felt a little early to propose alternative dates for what would be the budget season. So I just want to acknowledge that there will be an additional session at least one at some point in that time. We'll work with the council about getting the appropriate date.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we typically have 2 meetings in June. One just happens to fall on a holiday. Doesn't mean that we can't schedule a different date. Okay, so
Are you proposing that also for July? 2 meetings in July also, or just one?
At this point, we're not. We'll work with the mayor to see if there's additional meetings that are necessary. But as I understand it, the summers have been a little lighter. So at this point, we'll keep it as is and see what we need.
okay. So Jeremy, you're just asking us to receive it, not take any action?
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone have any issues with the schedule as shown? Okay, cool.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, I would also like to see an additional meeting in July. I think in the past where we've had 3 meetings missed, it backed everything up badly in the month of September. So I'd like us to at least consider it.
I know, I think, I totally agree with you, and as we've acknowledged already, that we're gonna have a lot of stuff in front of us, and so the last thing we wanna do is to have things back up even further. So thank you for recommending that.
Let's play it by ear and see what the schedule looks like.
We'll see how it goes, right? Okay, so oral communications number 2, any items that someone wants to talk about that are not on our agenda? You got a second crack at it? Anybody? No, I feel it, but no.
Don't tempt Michelle.
All right, so.
Yeah, now that you've taken off the clock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So-
man. We'll be here all night.
There, well, thank you so much again for attending, and I will adjourn tonight's meeting.
Thank you.